Welcome.
Please welcome.
The Outdoor Project Podcast. Hear real conversations from industry leaders on the latest in the hardscape and landscape industry. Brought to you by Cincinnati's Landscape Supply. You're now streaming the Outdoor Project Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Outdoor Project Podcast. Today we are in New Jersey, sitting down with Charles and Chris from Cambridge Pavers. How you doing today, guys?
Great, thanks for having us.
Doing good. Thanks for having us.
You guys got quite the empire over here. We just did a little bit of a tour at your what location was that? That was the
South Jersey, South Amboy.
Yeah, it's quite the place you got over there. Tell us how this all started.
Well, I tell you, the paving stone or hardscape industry, I'm talking about back in the early 80s, I was doing commercial and residential development. And of course, subscribed to a lot of trade publications. One of them was Concrete Products Magazine. I'm flipping through the pages and I see an ad for paving stones, but the ad was placed by the machine manufacturer. So I called up the machine manufacturer thinking, well, these paving stones would be great for some of my residential development and commercial development. I said, I want to see how these are made. Got on a plane, went down to West Palm, spent the day with a manufacturer. Came back, I said, boy, this is a magnificent product. This can change the way people think about paving in this country, period. From that point, I started market research and on manufacturing research. So you network, you ask questions from those in the industry. I ended up talking to people worldwide about the manufacturing process, what to do, what not to do, the type of equipment, all the above. At the same time, I went into trade shows. Now, I wasn't making any paving stones, so I would get pavers from competitors in the northern New Jersey market that were making them already. Had some banners made up to put behind the booth, had the pavers down, so I did that for architectural shows, landscape architects, builders, and homeowners. And the support continuously came back. Yes, yes, yes. 6 months later, pressed a button, ordered the equipment. August 1985, shipped out my first paving stones and never looked back.
Wow. What was your first investment?
At that point,
yeah.
I went and I applied for an EDA. That was a government loan. To put the whole plant and the building together was $1.6 million.
Wow.
And that was in the 80s.
That was in the 80s. The plant that you just witnessed down in South Amboy owned the property, had to put the building up and the equipment, $26 million.
Just the molds were 1.6 over in Amboy.
I never, hey, listen, I think back at ordering molds at $6,000 and $7,000. You're at $50,000 a pop at this point. You know, who would ever imagine?
Yeah.
That's where this industry is
Just the
now.
belts. I think your son, Charles Jr., was saying just the belts alone are worth more than most people's houses.
You know what that tells you as well? It should be telling the dealer, it should be telling the contractor that this market is in its infancy.
Yeah.
A guy like me would not be investing $26 million on a whim. Companies like Oldcastle or Belgard or Quickie wouldn't be out trying to buy companies like myself or starting new plants up. The rest of the world looks at North America as potentially the largest paving stone market worldwide. We're the largest in wall, and yet we still have so much to go in the wall market as well.
How far are your products expanding through the country, would you say? Are you mostly in the northeast part of the country? Are you spreading out west? What would you say?
The original plan was to build this plant and move on. But I guess our quality and our service started to catch on, and we got calls from up north, down south, Midwest, and I'd send a salesman out, territory manager, maybe once a month to talk to some folks. Right now we're in 22 states. Was not by choice. I mean, and you can imagine most contractors, most distributors can buy locally, less expensive than having Cambridge ship out. So that must be saying something for our quality and consistency of what we manufacture. So at this point, we had to keep adding machinery in order to meet the present demand. But with the completion of that particular plant, we're going to be looking to perhaps, not perhaps, either acquire or set some plants out in some of our outlying territories.
So you're looking to definitely add on here in the upcoming future.
Absolutely. We believe in the industry.
Just keep growing and growing.
And-
No
and-
limit.
And what we recognize is something that's important to us and that we focus on. It's not that I'm competing with the other brands. We try to focus. We compete with asphalt. We compete with concrete, railroad ties, poured walls. Keep that focus because that's the market we want.
Yeah, we see in Rochester that we're competing a lot against stamped concrete. You know, in this climate, they're still doing stamped concrete. And we do a good job promoting it and educating the contractors, educating the retail customer, but it's still competition.
Joe, you go to Florida and you see stenciled concrete. Forget about the weather. It spalls, it cracks, it does not work. Yeah. And you talk about color. Color just washes right out of it. The reason being, stenciled concrete is a slump cement, a lot of water in it. Unlike ours, very little water. The more water you put in, that's where you get that color fading in stenciled concrete.
Well, they say there's two types of concrete, cracked and gonna crack. So I don't know if it is the climate. I mean, anywhere you go, you're going to see cracked concrete.
Or fading, like you said, in Florida. I mean, even the colors in Rochester, they stay for about a year and a half, it seems like. And
Now, ours is also a concrete product. But what I always said the cracks are built in this system. That's your expansion joint. Yep. So when you get ground movement, regardless, you've got that flexible system on top, which is not going to allow for cracking, of course. It's in the system already.
Exactly. What separates quality from, I guess, different manufacturers? Is everyone making these products with the same integrity and standards as Cambridge Paving Stones?
I would hope so. A failed product is a failure for the industry. I think there's a lot of manufacturers out there that just count how many trucks leave a day. You know, what I've insisted on from the day we've opened, and we'll never forget, we're a manufacturer first. Forget about the marketing and the beautiful brochures and the TV commercials. End of the day, it's loud, it's dusty, we make a concrete product. And it can't be every other pallet, it can't be every other layer, it's gotta be every unit that goes out. So we have a very strong and disciplined quality control department. It is a manufactured concrete product, stuff happens. But that consistency has to be day in and day out. We're 24/7. We start March 1 through December 31st. We never shut the doors. And during that period of time, it's not every other layer, or does the operator feel good today or doesn't he feel good? What leaves this plant that goes to you, our dealer, or goes to the contractor, last guy on, we try to make that 100%. So that's a commitment. There will never, ever be compromised on the mix design that goes in making the product. We buy the best you can possibly think about. So with no compromise, insisting on consistency, and it's about your people. I don't know if you notice some of the signs in the building. It says, I don't cut your pay. You make your own pay through the product yourselves. Contractors have choices. Dealers have. They don't need Cambridge. Got to earn that each and every day.
Yeah, it starts from the top, obviously. I mean, you come in into work every day and you come to work hard and you tell these guys what you want, and it just starts from the top and goes right down the line.
I wish my son worked as hard as me.
I think one thing I want to add with the materials, I think a lot of companies, you can find the right suppliers, as Sensinig did with the brand you carry, but we have truckload after truckload of wall, cement, the different aggregates used on our products every day. We don't just accept it. We test from every one of those truckloads that come in, the moisture, what that sand looks like, what that stone looks like, to make sure the right stuff is going in that mix so the right stuff comes out at the end of the day. And that, from all of us here, keeping our eye on it, watching the QC line, making sure the product is what it should be, that's never ending. That process doesn't stop on Mondays or Tuesdays or Wednesdays. That's every day. And that's what I think has separated us from a lot of the competition out there.
You know, it's what you put in. You know, most machines are pretty equal, but it's what goes into that mix design. You know, it's the consistency of that material. Most quarries, cement suppliers, color suppliers would love our account. With the amount of production that we do, pay our bills on time, we're maintenance free. But the consistency is so important. We get cement deliveries. Great supplier, but we put that cement on every load under glass to make sure the color is where the color needs to be. Those are the type of commitments and integrity you talked about earlier that you have to live every day. You can't go off that game. You go off that game, you lose market share. You start to lose your focus on your material, and you have potential failures out there.
Exactly. Your employees are coming in. They're taking pride in what they do every day, and they're not just probably coming in 9 to 5 trying to get the heck out of here and go home. I mean, they're actually taking pride in the product they're producing every day, and that goes a long way.
And there's competition out there too. I mean, Charles Jr. was talking about how before when you guys marketed Armortec, and it's just such a beautiful product. Now you guys have other manufacturers that are trying to compete with you. And how do you deal with that on a day-to-day? I mean, do you welcome that?
I think every paving stone in North America should be faced. And that's me saying that because that's what should be done for the industry. Think about your market, the residential market. She chooses paving stones because of color and texture. And she's adding on an investment to her home, whether it's a $10,000 patio or a whole outdoor makeover. Shouldn't it look the same in years to come? And when it doesn't, that's going to hurt our sales for the future. Well, geez, I bought it. It looked this vibrant, and now it doesn't. Yes, I welcome that other manufacturers are making the financial commitment to do it and learn it. They're so far behind what we've been doing for 26 years now, and I said we won't compromise. I think a lot of folks out there look too much at the bottom line and at pennies and might compromise those ingredients that have to go into the end product.
Have you been doing face mix since the start of time?
The inception, 1995, when I opened Cambridge, faced.
Face mix. When did Armortec come around?
1995. Oh. and that facing technology certainly isn't something I invented. 95% of the production in Northern European countries where all of our technology comes from, they all face. And, a lot of those folks from around the world have come to look at our new plant. And not because we built it, but it's unmatched. And folks will look at how we face and what the end product is, and they just marvel. They said, you guys figured it out.
We all got an opportunity to look at the process.
Yeah.
And Ben, even our brand marketing guy looked at it. It's just, from an outsider looking in, we're all amazed at the process. It's amazing.
And you think about this process, this facing. So if it costs $1 to build a plant that's not faced, it costs $1.50, 1.5 times to build a plant where you do facing or Armortec. And as a manufacturer, you would think, well, if you're spending more money, you want to get more units out per hour. You get 25% less production when you face than when you don't face. People look at a manufacturer, you got to be nuts. You spend more money, capital investment, you get less productivity. That's a commitment to the industry.
Yeah, me and Chris said the same thing. We were leaving there, and with the numbers that Charles Jr. was telling us, it just goes to show that you guys have a great product, a very reasonable price, and the contractor needs to understand what goes into this process. And I know we do plant tours and stuff, but how important it is to understand the cost of all this and why we sell the product for what we sell it for as a distributor.
Joe, I encourage contractors, they don't have to be 20 at a time, one at a time. Take the trip. There isn't one of our partners, the quarries, cement, color. I went to Germany when I first started to use color, which was produced only in Germany. They were since acquired by other companies. But I visit those partners of mine. I want to see what they're doing. And I tell contractors, you should see the process. I don't expect you to use that when you go to Mrs. Homeowner and say, and I saw how a Cambridge Paving Stone Armortec was made. But you know what? You're going to see it. You're going to have that as part of your rhythm. You're going to feel more confident about what you're recommending. Recommend that to every contractor I meet. Come see how the product that you're making your livelihood is made.
Yeah, so the plant manager was just overlooking the process and all the pavers that were coming out. And I think you guys were doing a 2-color blend, and I think it was a black and a white when we were there. And he was just seeing this, he wanted to make sure that that mix was absolutely perfect as it was coming out. And I don't know how many pavers you guys might just toss out or samples that you guys run, but man, you guys were running a lot of pavers just to get that right color mix. And for that plant manager to take pictures and evaluate that coming through, just the waste to be perfect
That's
amazes
a
me.
Yeah. We throw away stuff other people will sell.
It's just part of business, I'm sure.
Water that came.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've done a lot of that. I mean, you guys have a ton of colors. They didn't come out of nowhere. I'm sure there's a lot of experimenting and playing around with colors to get where you guys are now.
And that's the best way to get to that perfect color blend we're looking for. And a great example of that, Bluestone blend.
Yeah.
That took us like 6 months of runs to find that perfect blue we wanted to emulate natural stone.
And your brother was saying that blue is the most expensive aggregate that you get too. So you guys playing with that, you're playing with a lot of money.
Yeah, it's the most expensive synthetic iron oxide. It's like 30 times more expensive than any of the other colors.
Yeah.
And it was 6 months of runs. So you think average run we were running for smaller batches for that color, 20, 25 cubes, and then we finally hit it. But then that leads to that color becoming one of our most popular for the past 10 years. And then you add more to that blue line, and it's just grown more of that natural stone appearance that contractors and homeowners wanted.
And you guys are ready to run a 6-color process.
Oh, yeah. As we put that process in. Just to colors, a lot of dealers, a lot of contractors say, my gosh, you have too much now. You're confusing the marketplace.
It's my fault.
And we look at, pruning some products out every year. But what drives the colors, here's 4 guys sitting in a room talking about hardscape products, but we need to recognize it's the woman, 35 to 55, she makes the decision. We go out, we have focus groups. We ask her, we show her colors. We ask her, what is she doing for window treatments? What colors does she favor? And we show her a host of different shapes, different textures, different colors. So that drives our decision-making when we start to tweak or look at additional colors to add on.
And you guys said you're in 22 states. So, I mean, in different locations, certain colors sell better than other colors. You guys give us an opportunity for Sensinigs as a distributor to pick and choose. I mean, you're giving us 17 colors or whatever it may be, but we can pick 10 out of those or 12 out of those. There's still another 5 options that might not work in our, in our area, but we still have that option. So I'd rather have more to choose from than less and be stuck with it. So I think it works good for our industry because the colors sell itself.
It could be that one customer who has that Sahara taste, but her project may lead to 10 more projects of her family and friends. So the more options you have, whether it's textures or colors, all that does is help grow all of our collective sales.
You guys definitely have more color options than your competitors, I would say. I mean, so many different variations of colors that are very similar too, but it's sometimes it makes it a little bit harder on our side for sales, but at the end of the day, you guys make it so easy.
Yeah, I think everybody, as a retail customer comes in and they're like, wow, there's just so much to choose from. But we do a good job putting your border colors together, whether it's grays and browns, and showing a customer how your Sahara Chestnut Light can be bordered with an Onyx Natural round table that can be bordered with a black. So we're selling 3 or 4 products in one job because there is that option for colors and designs. So without that, we wouldn't have the industry that we have right now.
Joe, you hit something that is so important to me and something I've been preaching for 2 decades. That consumer, she wants a dealer, you have to listen to her, but to stand up and make a recommendation. Make a recommendation as far as shape, texture, color. Most importantly, when you may refer a contractor if she asked you, or contractor may have sent that homeowner into your location, that contractor, he can't be in a position to put out 6 brochures and say, pick what you'd like. Or, I don't recommend colors, that's up to you. He needs to stand behind a brand that he supports and believes in and recommends it, knowing he can put in any brand that she may desire, but he also needs to stop and take a look at that design that she wants him to achieve and recommend a shape, recommend a color. She, in those focus groups, that's what she tells us. I go to a dealer, I look to him as an expert. I go to my contractor, I look to him as an expert. I want him to make recommendations to me.
From our side, Sensenix Landscape Supply, we get retail customers that come in every day, especially in the summer. We're so busy. You get retail customers that their contractors are sending them in, and you got this 2,000 square foot patio with all these different manufacturers, and they don't know where to start. I mean, they've never seen these paving stones. Okay, I'll walk around, but I like everything here. What do I pick? And that's where they kind of rely on us. We pick a product that we believe in, that we support, and we'll help them. We'll ask the color of the house. What colors do you like? And we kind of bring them to an area that we can kind of help them and lead them in the right direction, instead of giving them that huge broad spectrum of all these colors that they have to choose from.
And we help the contractor as well. You know, we're almost their salesman. So they send they send their customer into us, and we lead them through the whole process, you know, and you guys lead us through the whole process with your product. So for us, it's an easy sale. And you know the numbers that we do with you guys. And
Tremendous job.
Yeah, and we're growing and growing with you guys. But coming here and seeing the production of it, seeing the time, the effort that you guys put into it, the money, it's just outstanding for us as a distributor to be partners with you guys.
Well, you should be proud of something you guys just said. I mean, to have a contractor send in their customer to you, not being concerned, it's about integrity, not being concerned that homeowner's going to probably ask you, geez, can you recommend another contractor? And I know you wouldn't do that. That's all about integrity. But I tell the dealer, when you have earned the trust of your contractor customer to allow you to almost close the sale, maybe even make the sale, to take that off of his contract, so his contract is strictly labor, you're doing your job the right way.
I have a few contractors that most of the year in their busy season, they won't even show up to Sensenix Landscape Supply. They'll send them right to me. They'll have that customer ask for me, and I'll handle the whole project for them. And it does go a long way. I mean, it's one of those things.
Good for you.
Yeah,
But we also do get customers in that are only looking for Cambridge and the Armortec.
Can you say that again? I didn't hear
That
it.
are only looking for Cambridge and Armortec. You guys done a great job marketing that Armortec, marketing Cambridge. And I love your last two commercials. The last 2 years, your commercials were outstanding. They follow the values of Sensenix Landscape Supply. It's a family-owned company. You guys are a family-owned manufacturer. And the last 2 years, to tag our name on your commercials was just a plus for our marketing. And just wondering, how did you guys come up with these concepts over the last 2 years?
You know, I've been hiring in actors and actresses for since 1985 to do commercials. DIY Network, who normally shows how to build a deck, put a paving stone patio in, they said, called out of California, and they said, you guys got a great reputation. We want to show how hardscape products are made. And at that point, I said, well, I got to be the guy to do the tour. I'm not hiring an actor. I mean, I know my machinery. After I did that tour, our production people, creative people came and said that you got to be in the commercial. But there I was, a corporate guy, you know, president of Cambridge, show some great photos. So why Armortec? Why not Armortec? And I guess it's 3 years ago. How'd we make the transition, and why?
Yeah, so 4 years ago, Lindsay was added to our company. Lindsay Gamarikian and handled the marketing end of it. And I think a different perspective came in from her. And she's the target market. She's a woman 35 to 55-year-old. Mm-hmm. And our past commercials, where I would say it was more we're the authority of paving stones. And Senior came across as that, you know, why you should do hardscapes, why Armortec, versus what we are. We're a family. We enjoy spending time outside. There's a lot of us. And it's our life. And so when she came in, the big push was, let's show them who we are, show them who they're doing business with, and show them we enjoy the outside and what, you know, hardscapes can do that to make more time for you to spend with your family or enjoy that time with your family. So it just clicked. And that first commercial came out, and it was a different vibe, a different feel, and the feedback and, you know, and the response we got from it was tremendous.
And I think, too, the fun in that commercial it just being an outdoor living space and how fun you guys made it in that commercial was, you know, it just kind of depicted what we try to sell every day.
Right. You should see the outtakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, how many takes did it take to get it?
He's a one-take guy. Me, it's multiple. And so after 2 or 3, you see the
Hey,
faces
me and you
I
are
get.
very similar, man.
Sure, you hit a point, though, family values. And that's what people are recognizing in the commercial. Before this authority that would get up and speak, I can be in Maryland, I can be in D.C., any part of Pennsylvania, Manhattan, 8 million people, Cape Cod. I'm sure if I travel up to next time up in your neck of the woods, I could be walking down the street, absolutely in a restaurant. People come up and say, I know you. And I say, well, it's not about knowing me. Tell me the name of my company. And they'll say Cambridge. I said, tell me some more. I want to hear them say Armortec. And then I said, if you sing the jingle, I'm going to buy you dinner or something. But, and they've come back and said, we recognize you're a father, you're a grandfather, you're not just corporate America. That means so much to us. So you promoting those family values in your company, that resonates with the buying public. It certainly has resonated ever since we made that move. Just mind-boggling.
Absolutely. Just coming in here, I mean, I think I met your whole family already.
Well, I think
you guys
that's
are
right.
very personable. It's been great. You guys made us feel comfortable as soon as we walked in here.
And I don't think there's too many manufacturers in this industry where you meet the owners. You know, there might be a point person or a point contact. Obviously, we have salesmen to deal with at our locations, which are great too. But this is the first time that we actually sit down with the owners and have personal conversations and get that close to a company. And this partnership, again, and we talk about it, is huge. And how it relates to us selling makes a big difference. And I think it's a great relationship, but it helps you guys and helps us sell the product that much easier.
Well, I think the big difference, and we've seen it together, right? So if you have any concerns or issues that pop up, it's not that you have like 6 layers of Cambridge you have to get through. There may be 250 people here, but it's streamlined. You call Mike or you call me, we get to the bottom of it, because at the end of the day, we realize it's a contractor on a job site. Every minute he's experiencing that issue, he's losing money. And based on my father's past experience on the installation side, that's something we've always focused on. Let's get the answers quick. Let's resolve it. It's not about pointing fingers. So we've tried to keep our company, and we've done a good job of it, because we don't have hobbies. We don't play golf. We make concrete. We hang out with our families. So we're here so we can pick the phone up. We can resolve the issues. We can get it done. So at the end of the day, you're happy. You can go back to your customer, the contractor or homeowner, and get it solved, whatever that issue may be, so we can move forward.
And you may think, like, there's got to be more important things you should be doing. What's more important than taking care of your customer? Is there anything more important? No.
We were listening to a podcast yesterday, and the most important thing was he would shut a company down if the company didn't take care of his customers. And just thinking about that in this industry now, or with the technology, how much more important it is. You should always take care of the customer, but how much more important it is nowadays with technology to take care of your customers.
All it takes is one bad review on Google or one of those basically apps on your iPhone. All it takes is one bad review, and it could screw over a business real quick, you know.
Think about our world. Think about your own world. You hurt the contractor. You don't just lose the one truckload.
Goes right down the
that
line.
you didn't give him an answer. Let's assume the guy's doing 5,000 square feet a year from you, plus another 3,000 in wall. Over the next 10 years, what did you just lose? What about the guy that's doing 50,000 and 25? You lose that forever. Same thing. If I disappoint Sensenig, it's not just that I lost your sales for 2019 times 10 years. You're an annuity. That's why we tell our customer service folks inside and outside, just because you get a credit app and you got the order, and every order that comes in, you must be treated like it's the first time we got that order. The first time. And if there's a mistake made, don't try to identify who made it. Let's come up with the solution, and let's revisit what happened to try and prohibit it from happening again in the future. That's a focus. You know what? this is not stage owner sitting here. This is our life, you know, and it has to start from the top. It's got to trickle down, but you have to hold people accountable. It's just that you can't go out once and say, here's the policy, and forget about it. You got to, I think people here look at me like I got 3 heads. I ask the same question every day, day in and day.
I know I do.
And I'll never stop. You know,
No.
accountability.
That's your values.
That's it.
I think Chris has heard me ask him to go to a Philadelphia Giants game more than any issues we've had with any of your product, because I know how important. And if we do, maybe there was some efflow on a paver, or just simple things with a paver where, you know what, we run out to that job site right away. We take care of it. If we got to swap out some material or something, we always take care of those problems before it even gets to you guys, because the majority of these problems are very simple. And they're easy for us as a distributor to take care of and keep that relationship not only with the contractor but the retail customer, because at the end of the day, the contractor's got to get paid.
And Joe, if you can transfer that commitment to our contractor customer, number one, do it right the first time. You get a call back, go there, take care of it. Don't blow off. Don't not respond. And you're the last line. If you see a defect on a paver or a wall, don't put it in.
Don't install it.
Save it. Because you put that defective paver in, you've seen it. The homeowner's out there with a magic marker marking up my batch is bad.
Yeah.
So you got to hold him accountable. You just don't put your laying crew down and say, you know what, I expect you to get 1,000 square foot done today. Get it done before I'm back here at 5 o'clock. These guys aren't going to be watching what they're doing. And you got to respond to a homeowner. Half these guys, they go into a job, they get the contract signed, they don't share with the homeowner. This is what you should expect. My excavator's coming to rip out. I'm going to be sending base material over, same material, product. We should be done. And you can't show up one day, call up the homeowner, tell them why you can't show up. That kind of
Communication's huge.
You know, you think about that contract, our customer. And I do. I look to him as our customer. You know, you take an equation, me manufacturer, you dealer, then you got the contractor. He's the most important part of that equation. Great craftsmen, great laborers. They chose to be in that industry. Most of them worked for an owner. Then I said, gee, why? I'm doing all the hard work. I never see him. I'm sending all the money home to him. I can go into this business. Then within a month, they realized they're a salesman, estimator, foreman. They're laying the product. They're going out on sales presentation. They're getting home at 9 o'clock at night and fixing the brakes on their truck. Never had any sales training whatsoever. They think sales is a bad word. They need help. A lot of dealers will say, I can't teach a contractor anything. He has all the answers. Untrue. If 5% sticks a year, it's going to make it better for the entire industry.
Yeah, and I think we like to lean on you guys for that too, giving us some education, educating the contractors. I think that's huge in our industry. You know, there's just a lot of misleading information that these guys just don't get. I mean, every day we come up with contractors with a pickup truck that have nothing but problems with their jobs, or we get great contractors as well. I mean, the majority are great, but we also get some retail customers in. Hey, do you know about this contractor? What do you think about him? He's on my job site right now. You know, the communication has failed, but he bought his product from you. So how can you help me out? You know, what would you suggest in that situation? This was a situation that just came up, what was it, last week? What would you suggest to us as a distributor if a retail customer came to us, bought your product, we don't refer this contractor, and is just having a problem with that contract?
You got to go out and take a look at the project. And clearly, if it's an installation issue, you've got to have, first of all, you need to have the contractor right there on site. Same thing I tell our territory managers. We're not looking to throw a contractor under the bus. But if we can see that these are clearly installation issues, we're going to say, you're going to either fix this, or I'm going to be talking to the homeowner about what you did and what you did incorrectly.
And it could get uncomfortable, I'm sure, too, in that case. Because, I mean, what if that contractor is, we deal with that customer a lot, and we run into this issue. I mean, you don't want to ruin that relationship between the contractor and us.
No, so I think that conversation is always separate with the contractor first. And if you think, 95% of your guys do it perfect. So maybe it's that 5% that these issues may arise.
Yep.
And we also know there are also some crazy homeowners out there that no matter what is done, they're going to be angry or upset at the end of the day. So it's about us going through with them slowly and dealing with those concerns. And just on my case, usually if a concern gets elevated from a homeowner, whether it's a contractor didn't call them back or they're upset with their project, it'll come to me. 99% of the time I can put it to bed through pictures by email and going through either what efflorescence is, if it's staining or what they're unhappy with. But those cases where it's not and it is an installation issue, grab the contractor to the side, have the conversation very frankly with them, tell them what has to be done to fix it. This homeowner's not going to go away. And at that point, most of those guys will step back and say, I'm going to fix it, because they know. And if they can't, that contractor's not going to be in business many more years. And then it affects all of our business with those bad projects. But hopefully they get it and they learn from those mistakes. And some of our best customers today had that one issue on a job, learned from that mistake, and they haven't repeated it. So I think that's what this process is all about. We all learn every day about improving on how we do it. And you just try to make it work at the end of the day. You have to keep that homeowner happy.
You use that big E word, efflorescence. Is there any way, I mean, I think every manufacturer has their issues with efflorescence. What have you guys done to really bite that in the butt?
So over the years, the different admixes we have tested, normally what we end up going with, a lot of other manufacturers will follow suit with that. So, and that's just not like one test a batch. So you'll run batches of paving stones with the different admixtures that go in to hopefully curb efflorescence. Let that stuff sit outside all winter to see the effects it has on it. If we had a cure for efflorescence, besides having this business, we'd own that business. And you'd probably take over the world with it, because nothing has been able to stop that natural process from happening with cement. So it's just about doing whatever we can to curb it so it doesn't happen as much as it does. But our products, like all face mix products, you're putting almost double the cement in the face of it. So you're adding more to that. So just how we look at our moistures, the stone we put into our pavers, the clean stone, the sieves on that stone, our curing process of it, all that stuff helps at the end of the day to lessen the effect of it. But I would never try to say, oh, I think we have the fix. It's impossible. It's going to happen. Hopefully it's less and less. But as long as the ease of it is either it goes away by itself or you clean it. So you got two options. And explaining it to the homeowners up front, we used to only have one photo in the brochure of it. This year we added an entire page, just going over frequently asked questions in those photos. So it's something a contractor can say to the homeowner, either go through question by question, which I recommend, takes away all the surprises, or make sure they read it on their own. So at the end of the job, you can say, well, I went through that with you. I showed you the pictures. I can clean it for a cost. It shouldn't be done for free. Or you can let it go away by itself.
Yeah, I think as a distributor too, with efflorescence, I like to sell things that I've had my hands on. So there's always been a time where, just for an example, it wasn't your product, but a guy said, man, these pallets are full of efflo. What do I do? Well, it's 1,000 square foot. Either I can come pick the material up and go to the manufacturer, get some new material, but you're looking at, 5-6 days. I'm confident that we can sell, when we sell some really good efflorescence cleaning products, that I can come out there, just lay the product. I'll come out and clean it. I'll show you how to clean it, show you what to do. So when it comes to this problem again, you'll have it right in your back pocket. There's these cleaners out here that'll help you out and help your job. If not, clean every job. I know some of our contractors will install their job and clean it anyway. And when you're leaving with a fresh, it's just going to guarantee you that check at the end of the day. And it's a beautiful patio. But there's cleaners out there that we sell that clean all of that up anyway.
Joe, I recommend to every contractor, you should figure in your job, clean every job, whether it's Efflon, period. Figure it in your project. And being up front, with the homeowner will diffuse a lot of that aggravation. Or I'm holding this check. If I'm a homeowner, which I am, and I had no clue about this Efflo, and I got this white stuff on my pavers or wall, and my contractor said, well, it's going to go away. I said, okay, good. I'm going to hold $5,000 back till it goes away. I mean, you're making an investment here.
Spend a lot of money. People save up for a long time for that outdoor back patio, that outdoor living space.
So that's, a lot of folks will say, well, in selling, You don't like to present a negative. F-flow is not a negative. It doesn't hurt the integrity of the product. It's a phenomenon that happens with all concrete. So share it with your homeowner. Your homeowner is making a significant investment. It's an extension of their home. They need to know the facts. And, you talk about the contractor earlier that goes out and takes the shortcuts, doesn't do it right the first time. I have to do that in order to compete. No. If you build that rapport and trust with the consumer up front, you get your price. You don't roll back your numbers. And you certainly don't roll back the integrity of the installation or how it should go in. That's what causes the problems. And a homeowner, if I'm a contractor, I'm going to say, I'm sure you're going to go out and get some competitive pricing. And you know what? I recommend it. But make sure you compare apples to apples. I'm showing you exactly what I'm doing. I've written it down, how I'm going to do it step by step, what materials I'm using. You got to do it the same way. You're going to get what you pay for. But it's not like you're buying a car or a piano you're going to get rid of. This is an extension of your home. You're going to enjoy it with your family for the next 2 decades. So you want to save a few $1,000s, I'm sure you can on the installation. But is that for a year or is that going to be for the rest of your life? And a contractor's got to look the homeowner in the face and make those statements. Build that trust.
Yeah, I think a couple of good points there, and we've tried to push this with our contractors, especially in the seminars. The contractors that are booked out now till June, July, August are not the cheapest contractors. Normally they're the guys getting the highest price per square foot, not because they're gouging. They're getting what it takes to be profitable so they can go out, have the right people working with them, do the project the right way, market their company, have the right equipment to do the jobs properly. And those are the guys that are successful in growing. And as long as you keep getting that point out, as Senior just said, you build that rapport. So an outdoor patio or a pool, that could be $100,000, $150,000, even if it's $20,000. That's still probably the next biggest investment, as he said, besides the house. And people aren't cutting corners on their house when it's being built or they're buying it. They want it perfect. So why do it with the outside? Take advantage of this investment, do it right the first time, pick the right contractor, and pay what it's worth. And that's what we keep trying to get through the homeowners as well as our contractors to get that point across.
Joe, you talked about education, and that's key for us to educate the contractor. From the time I put that first plant in, we talked about, and I did installations for 3 years before I'm the first guy that came up with a dealer model, never went back another way again. But I had to do the installation route. In fact, the largest mechanical installation at that time I did, it was 120,000 square foot mechanically installed. I brought in a premier contractor out of Chicago and sold all the work. I was on site, subbed the work to him. But the key was, on that installation end, my golly, don't take the shortcut. Don't take it. Don't be in the industry. My biggest fear was the failure. The driveway that looks like a washboard when someone's passing it. The patio that's got blown out edges because they put no edging in. That's our future. One homeowner has a party for 15 people that come over and see that. I'm not going with it. This guy, what a cockamamie story he got me. This stuff is laid in sand. That was hard for me to understand. And I saw something was like this and puddles in the dry. I'm not using it. I'm going to put asphalt in.
Like you just said, it could be a deciding factor. You have that party with 15, 20 people, and they see that patio with the blown out edges, the sand seeping through, the weeds coming through. So that those people at that party say, oh, why the heck would I want to spend money on this when I can just pour concrete and not have these issues? And that goes a long way, you don't want to spend money on something that's going to fall apart after a few years.
Same thing I'll say to a contractor. Don't you think you should use facing? Don't you think the paver that your homeowner bought should look relatively the same in years to come? Yeah. Oh, I don't care. I want to get the job done, get my check. I'll put any brand in. Let them choose what they want. That's not a commitment to your future.
That's that contractor not taking pride in his work either.
Well, when you ask most contractors where their leads come from, they're not all screaming social media and advertising. It's word of mouth.
Yep.
So with that being, every contractor I speak to, word of mouth. Oh, I don't have to advertise. So with that being said, why you would choose a product or take a shortcut where that job is going to lead the next 10, 15, or 20 years of your business. So you want the right products, you want the right partners who you're doing business with, who you're getting your supplies from, and then just installing it the right way is the key to make sure they have that in the pipeline for years to come.
I disagree with the contractor who says I don't need to market, that I can get references, I get referrals. That's where I get it all from. Shame on him. Because when the economy turns a little bit, why should he be slow? He should be on social media. He should be doing trade shows. He should be doing his door hangers. He should have his truck signs out. He should remember what selling is. Prospects, get them in. Let them wait for you a year online if you sell yourself right. But don't just depend on referral after referral after referral.
We just had a contractor on last week. We took a ride out to Massachusetts and sat down with a young gentleman. I think he was 26 years old. He's only been in business for 3 years. This guy's got thousands of followers on Instagram. He's a successful business. He's making profit every year. 3 years into business. I mean, and he started out, like you said, just with door hangers, and it just spiraled from there. So he does his advertising, he does social media, and most of his work is through word of mouth.
I love success stories. No matter what, I love it. It's great. Great to hear.
And the thing is that was most intriguing to me was he didn't depend on his distributor to give him referrals to generate revenue for his company. We do, as a distributor, we do give out referrals to a small group of guys that do great work. But those guys don't depend on our referrals to make their business. And when guys come in and to a distributor, we see it all the time. Hey, I'll shop with you if you give me some referrals. Well, that's not how it works. You got to prove to us that you're going to be loyal to us and create a partnership that we go out, we market your company, we go out, look at your job sites, look at the install, see what you're doing. That's how we gain a partnership or loyalty with contractors. So, like you said, not depending on those referrals and stuff, you have to market yourself with social media. I mean, you got to be up to it, and don't depend on the distributor for to generate revenue, for your company either.
And at the end of the day, our name is on the line. So say we do give these leads out to these contractors. They go to this project, they land the project, and they do a crappy job. That customer's coming in and they're harassing us. We want to make sure we can rely on good contractors that are going to go out there, be respectful, do great work, and work well with these homeowners at the end of the day.
You're putting your reputation on the line every time you give a reference.
Exactly.
Every time it's your name that goes on the line.
And over the past couple of years in the seminars, we've done specific sessions just on social media. And you think about the change where our industry was in 2006 versus now, between the Instagram, the Facebook, the Twitter, how websites have to be done. Homeowners used to stop in your place first. Now they're on their computer for hours before. They know a lot about pavers, about installation, about the contractors. So the contractors not listing themselves in those different places and advertising that way, or definitely putting themselves behind the others that are. And you think about how much information now you can gain before they even walk in or talk to you the first time, where they're building that rapport with you on your website without you even knowing it. So that's your first step forward, how you appear, how what that homeowner's seeing your business and what your reputation is. So guys have to take a lot more time with that, look at it, and make sure it's done right.
Yeah, and you talk
key.
about reputations too. I think Sensenix, that's why we sell a lot of Cambridge, because we believe in it, the contractor believes in it, and you can see now where the industry's going. We talked about it a little bit earlier, that your competition is following you because they see how much distributors are selling Cambridge, coming to us, pushing Cambridge. Well, at the end of the day, we believe in the product.
Right around the corner, 2020, what do we have planned with Cambridge?
Very excited. So we have 3 new colors we'll be coming out with for this year. One's a 6-color blend, so that'll be made at the new plant that you guys visited earlier. And then we have 2 5-color blends. One has the appearance of like a natural slate bluestone, so you have some of the reds and blues in it, a little different than our Vermont slate presently. I think that's going to be a hit. And then we have a lighter version of our present slate, and you guys have seen this with your sales, moving more towards that natural appearance, the Tophionics lights, even the Sahara chestnut lights, the limestone quarries. So I think these 3 new colors are going to lend themselves to more sales on that arena. Offer them in the Ledgestone, the XL, and the smooth versions of those products just to start. Got a new garden wall, so that goes along with our physique wall, but that's going to be available in 3-color blends. So all the fire pits for this year will now be available in the 3 colors and 4-color blends. Which is,
the light colors, like Toffee Onyx light, Sarah Chestnut light. Okay, that's
Limestone
great.
Quarry, so that'll be in there.
Riverbed blend.
Riverbed
That's
blend
one of
as
my
well.
favorites.
We got some nice photos from one of your contractors in the brochure this year, Riverbed blend.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it came out great. We added an additional louvered pergola. So the pergolas for us, the sales of those in the pavilions have grown year after year. So that's an addition we have this year. So they've based on the pricing of those are a little more expensive objects based on the electronics that are involved with it. So kitted it, so it's a little more affordable this year. It's a cleaner look. It's more of a contemporary design versus what we've had in past years. So I'm excited about that. And that's more of the major things that we're coming out with for this year.
Awesome. Your new walls, they're beautiful. We've been slowly and steadily selling a little bit more of it. I'm glad we just put it on our display, but I think 2020, I think we're gonna definitely sell a lot more of like your limestone quarry walls and Toffee Onyx light, Sarah Chestnut light, Riverbed blend. I think they're really gonna turn out to be a nice wall.
It was hard in the first year because we didn't have those photos in the brochure, and we didn't have the material made yet to get in displays. So once that plant got up and running, we got samples out as fast as we could, but it's tough to get that to the masses. So this year in the brochure, we have like 8 gorgeous shots showing the 3-color blends. And then we added a new wall system last year, the Omega wall system. So it's a 5-piece system. The corners, everything's included in the packaging. And so you're gonna see us adding to that over the next couple years. Mid-spring, early summer, we have a smooth version of that wall coming out. Then you're gonna see a natural stone rock-faced version of that wall as well. Wow. And then that's gonna lead to a veneer-style version. So the amount of walls that we're gonna be coming out with over the next 2 to 3 years, pretty substantial. It's exciting stuff that we've been working on now for almost like 36 months, the different mold designs and the layouts. So
wow. Now,
exciting times ahead.
When you guys come out with a new product like the Omega Wall, do you guys, in the future, plan on deleting something, or, maybe that wall will take over another wall? Or
I think we always look at that when adding new products. The thing is, Matrix, we've built such a following with that product. That's a wall product. It was probably one of the last walls to come out between 3 and 6s versus all of our competition. But a lot of guys gravitated towards it because there was no shims needed. It would go up fast. They made money labor-wise. And so when we added the Omega, different type of system, still double-sided, still split face, so there's a very similar appearance to it. But I think there's other contractors who are used to that Omega-type system, so I think based on what's out there in the marketplace, I don't think we had enough wall systems until we got this new plan in. There was a lot of room for growth. But on a yearly basis, we also think about you. You can't stock 1,800 SKUs in your yard and have them there in stock every day.
Yeah.
So we look at where sales are going, if they're increasing, if they're not. And when stuff starts to tail off, cut it. Like you've seen with some of the Renaissance ledge stones or those products where after the years went on, it wasn't worth having those in the brochure. Then we focus on products that customers want.
I know circle kits. Do you guys still sell a lot of those?
Still move them, yeah.
Wow.
I asked Chris that earlier because we don't sell much circle kits anymore, but we do see an increase of like a smooth paver. Is that kind of trendy for you guys? Do you guys notice that? We see it in Rochester and Geneva locations, but is that kind of, between the 22 states, do you see the smooth paver becoming more popular?
I'd say over the last 4 years, the sales of our smooth products, and we've added to our line with the larger scale products, just the growth on that has been double digits year after year. And it's that more contemporary, modern feel. And then you add to that these 3 and 4 color blends, just the blending pattern on that smooth product versus the textured. It just has that different appearance where it almost marbleizes. And I think that's really helped up the sales with that. But that's why the walls were kind of moving towards that direction as well, to have that to match the floor with it. So I agree with you.
You mentioned not selling a lot of circles. The biggest hits we get on our social media and in our focus groups are circles and inlays. They don't want to see a monolithic look, even if it's a 6-color blend, double borders. We've got so many different accent stones that you could use, but you need to show it. If you got it in your display, you got circles there. It's an added item that the homeowner goes on our social media. She'll hit those photos, will continuously get the hit. And this is what they've also reported back in the focus groups.
Yeah, it helps having a display to broadcast these products because it is sometimes hard to sell it out of a catalog. because the catalogs don't always do its justice. Sometimes the colors maybe will come back a little bit different than what you see in the book. So it's always nice being able to see it right in front of your eyes, especially for the customer too.
I think why you've probably seen a dip in circle kits for your sales, you think about some of the new products we came out with. So River Rock's the perfect example. It saves contractor labor hours. There's no cutting. They could throw that in any circular area. They throw a border in around it, Belgium 5 or another product, and it looks better than a circle kit in my eyes, because you're almost taking a ledgestone patio, a Belgium 5, different texture for a border, then you're throwing River Rock, another texture, so that's 3 textures in one small area, and guys are charging double the price for that accent than what they're getting for maybe the extra labor they were spending with their circle kits. So you've seen that evolution, and guys are getting more creative, and our book now, almost every page has that Belgium 5 double inlay, or Belgium with brick alley, then you throw in River Rock, and to me, those are the exciting projects, even mixed in with natural stone. A lot of our brochures, photos, it's pavers with natural stone and those different blends of textures. I'm all for it. That's more of a natural landscape. That's what we're trying to emulate and keep with that landscape design feel out there. So we've had a lot of success with those different products, I think, overtaking the circle design kits.
For sure.
And rest assured, for 2020 and beyond, this extending the inside-outside, that's not a trend. It's here. You and your contractor must know, though, everybody can't afford the front cover. Everybody's not going to go for 100 or 200,000. They don't have the budget to do it. And I get very upset when someone will say to me, "Well, I'm just doing a 10 by 10 patio." I said, "Shame on you. You know, you go into that homeowner who just wanted that patio to put their lounge chair on and maybe a grill. Go in with a vision. Don't you think she wants a grill? Don't you think she wants a fire pit?
Sitting
Kitchen?
walls.
She wants it all. Have a vision of her outside. I don't care how compact or how big. And lay it out for her. Let her know in year 2, you can add a seating wall. In year 4, you can do a raised patio in the back to accommodate the kitchen after you identified how she wants to use it. You talk about referrals, you got a job for the next 10 years. And nothing wrong with saying, listen, this is what I can do your patio for this year. Save so much, I can come back in year 2. The shapes are going to match, the colors are going to match. So this could be your outdoor room that you can enjoy. And forget about that Labor Day, Memorial Day. These things are all 4 seasons. I mean, you got guys shoveling snow off their patios, grilling their steaks. It's year-round. So this is not just a little blip. This is forever.
It's not a fad.
This is absolutely not.
We always talk about phased projects. You know, if you can only afford a 12 by 12 or a 10 by 10, you know, think about next year for that sitting wall. And think about next year, you get the sitting wall. Maybe you didn't need the furniture, so the sitting wall kind of helped you with the budget on furniture, and you're going to sit around that fire pit that might only cost you $400 or $500. You know, so just think about that phase project over 3 years. You can have a nice patio with a sitting wall and a fire pit, because it all works. You know?
And you don't have to drag the furniture in the winter and drag it back out, and there's no maintenance.
Exactly.
Now, you know that from a couple of your good contractors and your own experiences. But for everyone you know who goes in with that vision, there's 9 other guys that don't do it. They go in, do it, wrap it up, they're gone.
They just want their money at the end of the day.
That's on us. Yep. That's that education. Never stops.
Yeah, and that customer appreciates you listening to them, you know, and taking into consideration the budget, but planning that out over the next 5 years and listening to them. I think the biggest thing about our referrals, sometimes we'll get a customer coming back and said, I love the contractors that you guys, sent over to me, but I think I'm going to go with this one here because I think he listened a little bit better. Not saying the other contractor is a bad contractor, but the other contractor just listened to her needs just a little bit more that sold the job, and that's what they want.
You are so on point, Joe. And it's not, and you may have a homeowner that's not so vocal. It's also the job of the contractor to ask the questions to get them to share. Because the more they start to share, they're going to come back with that same comment. The most difficult task the homeowner has in doing a hardscape project is choosing a contractor. She'll do a research on product and what dealer to buy it from. She'll go through all of that and do her own research. She doesn't trust contractors, not just hardscape. That's the roofer, the painter, the guy that does the siding. Guys don't show up on time, right? They don't return phone calls. They start a job, they leave a job. That's all. We have that lousy reputation. She wants someone she can trust. I'm a homeowner. You know, whether I'm going to listen to the plumber that comes in, he makes a recommendation, but I want the guy that I feel comfortable with. Ed, sure, I'm going to pay you. Get the job done. Get it done the right way. But that's all that rapport building from the first time he engages her, whether it's at your location or maybe you told him to call, maybe it was a trade show. The first phone call, he has to start building that rapport. Key to get the project and not roll over on his prices.
And I think our location, or as being a distributor, we do a good job of giving them a good contractor, somebody that they can depend on. And we talk about it all the time. I might like a guy maybe designs a little bit better than this guy. This guy's might be a little bit more simple, but does a little bit better craftsmanship, or, you know. So at Sensenix, we kind of listen to the customer and their needs, almost doing the work for the contractor. For me, I'll pick the contractor because I've listened, or Chris will pick the contractor because he's listened to the customer. We'll send out the contractor that we feel best fits that customer. She'll be able to depend on that customer, or that contractor, not saying that we might send out one or two of them, not saying that she's going to jive with both of them. And we say they're probably going to be right around the same price. Or you might like his personality a little bit better than his personality. But at the end of the day, they're going to give you a quality job. And they're going to give you a quality product. And they're representing our company, first and foremost. And they can leave there confident that they're going to get the job done well.
I think the way you handle that is great, and you know the personalities of your contractor customers better than anyone does, and you can kind of feel that vibe from the homeowner, and you just try to put those two together. That's going to click the best, because that's the key part of selling. It's hopefully those personalities will mesh, and some people don't. There's a lot of people I don't mesh with. He'll take it over, or vice versa. And so, you know, how your personality works with certain people is the best way to approach it. I think that's a nice way you set them up and you lay that groundwork, so it makes it a little easier for them.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you guys coming and sitting down with us today, taking time out of your day. You didn't have to do this, but
we enjoyed it. It was great.
We appreciate it.
As much as we appreciate you guys and what you do for us, but you know what? This is taking a foot forward in the right direction, and I applaud you for making this investment of your company's resources to help educate that contractor more. Whoever we can educate to move our industry forward, kudos to you guys. Well done. Very well.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us be part of it.
Means a lot.
Thanks,
guys.
We appreciate it.